Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy Fantastic and welcome to my Vampire Guide. These are the latest team on Blood Bowl 3. They're a very interesting team. They're a very dice rolly team. They're very powerful. They're high risk, high reward. I guess that's what you say about them, right? They've got 6 great players and they can do almost anything. And they've got the thralls that let them do that. And the vampires are just out of this world. They're a skill differential team basically. If you're rubbish with vampires, you won't do very well. If you're great with them, you will. If you're playing somebody who's very bad against vampires, you'll crush them. There's a lot to them. There's a lot of gameplay. There's lots of decisions to be made. So it's very interesting that they've come out on Blood Bowl 3 because now we can finally see loads of games played by them. Right? We haven't been able to see that in the past, really. Like, yes, Fumble has got them and Tabletop's got them, but you can't watch replays of Tabletop. And Fumble, it's not so easy to play like, low TV, like Arena style and NAF style. So like there have been games, but there'll be obviously more games now that Blood Bowl 3 has them. So very interested to see. I mean, this guide is, somewhat theoretical because I don't play Fumble and I don't play Tabletop. But I mean, I know things. I do know things. So these are the players that you've got. 60k rerolls. So first of all, the rerolls are very cheap. That's great, isn't it? They can have an apothecary as well as having regeneration on some players. So yeah, let's have a look at the Vargeist, the big guy. Maybe the best big guy in the game. This is kind of crazy, but it's kind of true, right? Movement 5, Strength 5, Ag 4 plus, AV 10 plus. He's got Frenzy and Claws. He's got regeneration. And he's got a Bloodlust of a 3 plus. Now, Bloodlust, most of them are 2 plus. The Blitzers and Vargeist are 3 plus. Now, oh god, well, you can read it. It's too hard to say it all. But essentially, on a 2 plus, you can act normally. On a 1, you've either got to bite a thrall or end your team turn and go bonehead, which is distracted now, is the new term. The new term from third season Blood Bowl. So this is 3 plus, but they get +1 if they're going to block or blitz. So the thing about the Vargeist is it's quite expensive. It is a good player, but the problem is with vampires, you've got 6 vampires that won't be doing vampire things. And while this is like a good bashing player, it's at odds with the rest of the team, like if you think about like the tree man on Wood Elves, that's like doing a great job because it's just stood there absorbing hits. This wants to be active, punching things, where the rest of your team is trying to get the ball. It just doesn't jive with that. Now, you can have it eventually at high TV if you're playing in a format that allows high TV. But usually you're not going to be taking this despite it being kind of amazing. So that's a funny little thing. Now, we've got the Blitzers, 110k, which is quite reasonable for 6'4", 2, 5, 9, and 9 plus. So they are fragile, right? Although they're strength 4, they're only AV 9 plus. So I should do how you level them as well, shouldn't I? I do apologise. So they've got strength primary, so they want mighty blow, so that they can hurt things. Maybe Juggernaut, right? Maybe Juggernaut, because they've already got frenzy. So obviously Juggernaut frenzy is great, helps with the 1 turn as well. But you could also just go mighty blow and then save for block. Pro's obviously good, especially with Bloodlust, and you've got tackle and you've got dodge as well, right? Like keep them alive. They could take plus AV. They could take defensive. All the usual guard. All the usual skills for big guys. But Mighty Blow's the big one, right? They obviously want Mighty Blow first and start killing things, right? Their job is to kill things and hopefully not die as well. Which is kind of the job of these guys as well, right? They've got Hypnotic Gaze, they've got Regeneration, they've got Bloodlust, and they've got Juggernaut. So the core of the team is Hypnotic Gazing. And the fact that the Vargeist doesn't have Hypnotic Gaze is what's bad about it. So Hypnotic Gaze is a 2+, right? You get -1 for each player marking him. That doesn't include the victim. So when you gaze somebody, it is a 2+ to turn off that player's tackle zones, and that also turns off all of their skills as well, right? So like if they've got a block and dodge Amazon Jaguar warrior blocker, you gaze them, and now they suddenly don't have block or dodge anymore, and they're only an AV 9+ player ready to get smashed to pieces. So they are a nightmare. If you're hitting somebody with sure hands, let's say a block dodge sure hands player, you Hypnotic Gaze them on a 2+, and now all of a sudden you can just hit them. They've got no protective skills, and you can also use strip ball on them. It's crazy. Hypnotic Gaze, and it's on a 2+ as well. Like unless you're in a tackle zone, an additional tackle zone, it's on a 2+. It is crazily powerful. Way more. It's more powerful than it used to be, and it used to be in a 3+. Now it's on a base 2+. So it is incredibly powerful. It's what vampires are all about. They can just always hit the ball. Every single turn they can hit the ball. When you're playing against them, it's really hard because you can't factor in the 1,000 different possibilities of how they can play their turn. You've just got to like think more or less what's the best thing I could do against them and hope it's good enough. They are a nightmare to play against, and they're a bit of a nightmare to use as well because you've got to think about your bloodlust, and you've got to think about ordering where your thralls are to feed on. You've got to think about contingency plans if you fail bloodlust. You've also got to declare your Hypnotic Gaze at the start of your action. So you could, there's a lot to think about. It's actually too hard to explain in the guide, which is funny, isn't it? There's just so many things to think about. So I think I will have to do a series with vampires to talk about it more, but there's just loads of things. There's just loads and loads and loads of things. But yeah, Hypnotic Gaze is bonkers powerful. They're obviously strength 4, that's ridiculously good. They are fragile though, AV9+. And the Blitzers come with Juggernaut, which is really nice. Of course, it makes Frenzy really appealing on them because you can, if somebody's got somebody 2 squares next to the sideline, you can Hypnotic Gaze somebody so you can just surf them, right? So people don't think about that. People think that their guy near the edge of the board is safe, and then you just Hypnotic Gaze somebody, and all of a sudden you get a free surf. So yeah, vampires very, very good. that's Hypnotic Gaze. That's the big point, right? Regen is fine, right? And yeah, Bloodlust. Their Bloodlust is a 3+. So really, you want to mostly be blitzing with your Blitzer. It sounds stupid, but obvious. It's got Juggernaut, so he's kind of safe as well. It's a safe blitz at first until you get block. And they get general strength and agility all as primary, which is very nice. Funny enough, strength, you could go Mighty Blow, right? So you've got a stronger hitter. You don't really need anything else. General wise, they want block because block is brilliant, and they want dodge because dodge is brilliant. So really, every single vampire wants block and dodge. And after that, in a redraft environment, I'm going to take Pro as the 3rd skill. Pro is much better now in a 3+. It lets you Powfish with extra dice. It lets you reroll the Hypnotic Gaze. It lets you reroll the Bloodlust. Pro is really good for vampires. So Block Dodge Pro or Dodge Block Pro on pretty much everybody is a great way to skill them. Then you've got in an uncontrolled environment, like no redraft, or really high redraft, or really long number of games redraft, then that's when the stats come into play, right? Like this guy could be movement 8, block dodge, pro, and then strength 5, right? Something like that. Insane. Or they can get double AV up to stay alive. So stats are really good. Sidestep is also really good. Sidestep is a really, really banging skill for vampires. So yeah, that's the Blitzer. Really good. 110. Did I say it was 110k? I don't know. What's also 110k is the Thrower. And the Thrower's similar to the Blitzer. He's got the same stat line, 6'4", 2'9" for the AV, but he's got a 2+ PA, so he's got a better stat line. His Bloodlust is a 2+, so, that's great. and he's got pass. So they're just really good at passing, like really good at passing. Now, I don't know why vampires are throwers. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my mind. When vampires just had 6 vampires, to me that made more sense than having these thrower positionals and blitzer positionals. But it's really powerful. They do get passing primary, which is the only thing you're going to take as leader. And the strength means they don't get the mighty blow, which is very optional anyway. You could take mighty blow, tackle mighty blow on a blitzer. They've got agility, so again dodge, right? They want to go dodge first probably, and then block, and then pro, and maybe leader. There's different things in arena. We'll talk about arena later, but yeah, throwers really good. Vampire throwers they're obviously the best thrower in the game, one of the best players in the game, incredible players. They've got bloodluster 2+, so they're quite happy gazing things, whereas the blitzers having a 3+ bloodlust makes them gazing unreliable. But the gaze is very reliable with the throwers, incredible players. And what's arguably better than the throwers are the runners, not catchers, runners. They are movement 8, which is crazy. It's what vampires have needed for so long, is a bit of speed. Now, they are only strength 3. Edge 2+, they are only AV 8+ as well, so they're very fragile. But don't start with dodge. So the starting players, they're super fragile. They need dodge as soon as possible. You've got to be very careful with them. You don't actually want to hypnotic gaze with them or anything, right? You just want to use them to capitalize on things and get them skilled up as quickly as possible. And once they get dodge, then you can start using them a bit more proactively. They do have passing secondary and strength secondaries, but all they're going to be taking is dodge and block and sidestep and pro. They're the 4 skills that they really want. And then obviously they want plus movement because they're already movement 8. They can be movement 9. They can be movement 9 with sidestep. You can do really good 1-turns with them because you can actually push both of the runners forward, and then one can hypnotic gaze the back line and the other one just walks through. So crazy good players. And but they do take a bit of development, right? The rookie player is a bit rubbish, to be honest, right? AV 8+ and only strength 3, very fragile. But once they get dodge on them, at least, really nice. And here's your thrall. They're rubbish. They're 6/3/3, 4+, 8+. That's the stat of a hobgoblin or a Amazon without dodge, or they're pretty bad players. They just want to random mostly, right? Random general. And then you can keep block, you can keep wrestle, you can keep kick, you can keep dirty player. That's pretty much what you're looking at. Kick is actually quite good. I'm not normally a fan of kick, but because vampires are so much about getting the ball. Like, you don't need to go for ball every turn. You can kind of try and break down their position a bit and then go, make it a 2 or 3 part move for their ball. But they can always go for the ball if you want. Using kick, and then if you roll a blitz, you can get straight through. You can actually use hypnotic gaze on a blitz, but still, a blitz is a good kickoff result for vampires. You can use it. You can do lots of things with kick. It's good on bad players. This is why I don't like it on elves, right? Elves can just take block and dodge and be a great player. But Skaven, linemen and thralls, they love a kick. Really good for them. Obviously wrestle and block, defensive and offensive. And dirty players are great use for your for your kind of rubbish players, if you like. So they are the players. We can have a look at the starting teams. So there's 2 real ways to start the team, I would say. I would say this is the best start if you know what you're doing. You could also have 11 players. You could go 11 players and an Apo. But 12 players and an extra dedicated fan. And we've got 1 blitzer, 2 runners, 2 throwers. Only 3 rerolls. So if you are new to vampires, this maybe isn't the best, right? But if you aren't new to them and you know what you're doing, then it's giving you 5 vampires. Vampires is how you win the game, right? Lots of people say, oh, you beat vampires by killing the thralls. And then, no, that's nonsense. It used to be more true when Bloodlust was more punishing. Now that you can just fail a bloodlust and end your turn and like go bonehead, doesn't matter. So the thralls, you want to constrict the movement of the thralls, right? You don't want to let them move the thralls where they want to go. You want to like kind of kidnap the thralls, but you want to hurt the vampires. You want to foul the vampires when you get the chance. That's how you deal with them. So yeah, with having 5 of them is obviously better because you've got more vampires to do more vampire things with. You've got more hypnotic gazers. You know, like it's kind of a multiplicative effect having more hypnotic gazers, because you know, like if you use 2, okay, you can get somewhere. If you've got 5, you can get anywhere, right? Like it's just, you just want more and more and more, plus things can fail. So the Juggernaut kind of makes up for the fact that you're losing a reroll, but you do have more bloodlust, so you've got to be a bit more wary about buying thralls for this 5-3 split. But I do think this is the best, you know, once you can play vampires. But if you can't play vampires, which, if you're watching this video, is maybe what you think to yourself, you can go with a 4-4 split, which gives you 4 rerolls and only 4 vampires. You could also, you know, you could switch one of these runners for a Blitzer if you wanted as well, so then you could only have 1 fragile runner. But I do think it's best to get these ones skilled up as quickly as possible, right? Get them dodge as soon as possible. The problem this team has is there's only 4 vampires, so you can do less vampire-y stuff. So it's actually not as simple as you'd think. Right. Now, where vampires really excel is they're pretty decent in arena and stuff, but where they really excel is if they can go big. So I'll show you an example of a big team here. This is the kind of team you can get on, you know, if you just play in a league like Rebel or whatever and you just played loads and they didn't care too much about redraft or whatever. You know, you can have loads of rerolls, you can go up to 8 rerolls even, like, you know, any kind of TV. You can do Vargeist. Look at this, Mighty Blow, Guard, Block, Pro, Tackle, Dodge. You can have all this stuff, like, why not, right? But most of the players are going Block, Dodge. And then we can have a Strip Ball Blitzer and a Frenzy Blitzer. And then these have all got Pro. We've got a Sidestepper with Move Up. Got a double Move Up Thrower, like, why not, right? Leader. This is the kind of stuff you can get loads of skills on them. I gave a kick and a wrestle dirty player. I gave full price, but you know, these would be random, whichever random one survives. So this is what you're looking at: loads of blodge vampires, and they're just so hard to deal with. Because like elves, you can kind of just beat them up a bit, right? But with vampires, if you do that, you're just going to lose the ball next turn probably. So it's very, very tricky. I'll just do the arena one quickly here because I'll be doing a separate arena video with the setups and stuff. But this is... So the funny thing about arena and NAF tabletop is there are a few people who play vampires, but far and away, you know, being English, I'm biased. The one that we've all heard of is Torquemada. He plays them all the time. Like, he plays loads and loads of vampires. And this is the team that he uses. He's got a Frenzy Blitzer with Juggernaut, can do loads of surfs. You've got to think about it all the time because you can use gaze to switch off tackle zones, and surf players you would think would be protected. It means you can't really defend the sidelines because of that. So yeah, that's pretty strong. We've got Strip Ball on the other one because, you know, if you've got a sure hands, they can turn off the sure hands. And seeing as your whole team is about getting the ball, it makes sense that you take the skill that gets the ball. You could take block on this Blitzer, right, and then just blitz with block as a matter of course. That's completely fine as well. And same with the thrower, right? You don't have to go with a block thrower. You could go with a dodge thrower and then try and use this block to hit. If you've got a Strip Ball, then you probably do want the block for like the safe block. Leader's kind of obvious to get an extra reroll, and then dodge on your runners because they have to dodge. So I do quite like this thing. I mean, I might change it myself if I was to play a lot of vampires, but for now, this is the Torquemada build, if you like, and it's probably correct. 13 players, Apo, 3+1 rerolls. This does work for Vampire Arena season. You've also got the Inducements. So let me show you what inducements you can get. Kegs, of course, sometimes, right? Keep the thralls alive, keep your vamps, but get back on the pitch. Not alive, get back on the pitch. Numbers up is good, right? Bribes, you can foul with thralls, right, versus key targets. Extra team training, probably unlikely to use. Wizard, they obviously can use fantastically well because they can also like put in gazes as well. So yeah, they love wizards. Chef, probably too much. Apo, not really, right, with the regen. Same with this, you don't really need this because you've got the Apo, so you're never going to take that when you've got an Apo instead. Coaches probably over. Cheerleaders, biased ref, depends on how foul you, right? You might be quite heavy fouling depending on who you're playing. And then they obviously get the Sylvanas, whatever the thing is for Sylvanas. Yeah, they've got Helmet Wolf, Skrull, Ivor the Animal Death Shroud, he's really good. Gretchen is terrible. Bryce the Slice is very good. Count Luther's pretty decent. He's pretty decent. He's very expensive though, right? Like, while he's a good player, he's very expensive. So there's actually another star player vampire that isn't in the game yet. But of the ones that are here, Ivan is really good, right? You'd have to be down a lot of TV to want to use the Count. But yeah, they're interesting. They're a really interesting team, and it is going to be super interesting to see them played more, and just see where they go, see where it goes with the arena, particularly arena. That's the biggest one, right? It's going to be interesting to see lots of games put on them, see what the win rate is, people being able to play against them, right? When you think about tabletop, at the UKTC, there were 10 vampire teams out of 240, which means 1 in 24, which means it's very unlikely you're going to play them at any given tournament, doesn't it? And then, so most tabletop players just aren't playing against vampires, and I actually practiced heavily against vampires before UKTC. I played 6 games versus good players, and that's probably more than most people have played all year versus vampires, right? So this is a great opportunity for the community at large to learn about vampires, learn how to use them, and learn how to play against them. So very interesting, and yeah, I'll do a series with them for sure. And it's actually hard. It's actually hard to go into them for this guide because there's so many intricacies. Like, it would be too hard to talk. You could talk too long about them because you have to think so much about what happens if I fail a bloodlust. What happens if this guy gets gazed? What happens if this one doesn't get gazed? And it's hard. It's really hard. And with the time limits on Blood Bowl 3, that might be really hard to be able to get the most out of them compared to tabletop, where they get a bit more time to think. Maybe people won't do very well with them because they haven't got enough time. But then, by the same token, you haven't got a lot of time to think against them either. So, yeah, it'll be super interesting, and I'm excited to do that. So there you go. I'll do an arena one as well soon. So, right, thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay fantastic.